Facebook boxing bros, the page that got it flowing. Can you feel it? Our love for boxing, we cannot conceal it.
All right, what's up, boxing bros and broettes? It's time to talk a little Canelo, Alvarez versus Gennady, Triple G, Golovkin. Saul Canelo Alvarez, that is. So, as you know, we are less than a week away from the fight. This time next week, you'll probably be watching my reaction and review of the fight. It's time to predict what I think is going to happen, the Brohammer prediction. This is a big fight. So a very, very, very big, important fight. I would say it's not necessarily for the number one pound for pound spot. I think it's more so number two. I think whoever wins this fight could probably supplant Crawford as number two. Triple G is already number three on a lot of people's list. Canelo is somewhere anywhere between the 5 to 8 range, I've noticed on a lot of people's list. So whoever wins this fight, I think, will be number two, or at least number three on the pound for pound list, on most pound for pound list. This will be Canelo's first fight at the 160 pound weight limit. His last fight was at super Canelo weight of 164 pounds, because you know he makes up his own weight divisions. So yeah, super Canelo weight's 164. His fight before that was against Liam Smith at 154 pounds. He actually moved a pound down from Canelo weight of 155 to fight Liam Smith, which he just dominated him. What do I think is going to happen in this fight? Now, before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about Triple G. Now, personally, I feel like it's a divide amongst boxing fans on how they rate Triple G. One side overrates him and the other side underrates him. And there are a few people that are in between, in the middle, where they got it just right. Personally, I feel that he's either the top 2 or top 3 pound for pound fighter in the world. It depends on if you want to put Crawford above him or slightly below him. Now, some will say Crawford be unifying his division of 140 pounds and becoming the undisputed champion at that division is a bigger feather in the cap of Crawford, and you put him in number 2. I had no problem with that. What I will say in Triple G's defense is that he has been trying his best to unify the division, but it's kind of hard when the other belt holders are not willing to participate and play nice. Now, Billy Joe Saunders, he's been holding his belt for hostage for the longest time. He says he wants to fight Golovkin, but then the fight is never made. We also know that the lineal champion at middleweight has been ducking Gennady Golovkin for the past, 3 years now? Maybe 4 years. It started with Sergio when Golovkin was coming up. Sergio didn't fight him, he avoided him. When Cotto beat Sergio, he avoided him. And I think he was paid step-aside money twice. And he was paid step-aside money so Sergio could fight Cotto, and then again so Cotto could fight Canelo. Now, whoever is out there is watching, go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section. But if my memory serves me correct, he was a mandatory and he had to step aside twice. That's 2 ducks. And technically, Golden Boy and Canelo ducked him as well by vacating the lineal middleweight title when Canelo beat Cotto, and deciding to fight, who did he fight after that? Amir Khan, a welterweight. He fought him at Canelo weight at 155. Then he fought Liam Smith at 154 to win a junior middleweight title. So technically, Golden Boy and Canelo were ducking Triple G. So he had been ducked 3 times in a row by the guy who was the lineal champ at middleweight. I mean, what do y'all want the man to do? He's trying to get the fight. And some people will say, well, he ducked Andre Ward. Now, check this out. Okay, Triple G and his team did say that they will fight anybody from 154 to 168. They tried to make a fight they talked about making a fight with Carl Froch or with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now, none of those came to fruition, obviously. Froch, he talked a lot of mess and, just blabbering. But he said, oh, I'm retired. But if I wasn't, I would do this to Triple G. All right, whatever, dude. Come out of retirement and prove it. But, I mean, I don't blame you for not coming out of retirement. You did what you had to do in the game. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., that was obviously a money fight. They were going to use him as a name to make some money. And build up Triple G a little bit more, because Triple G was going to beat the slop out of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and probably knock him out, something that Canelo did not do when he fought him in May. But when Andre Ward raised his hand and was like, hey, I'll fight you at 168, all of a sudden it was, oh, well, Gennady's main goal is to unify and become the undisputed middleweight champion. Hey, that's honorable. I don't consider that a duck. I mean, that's a legit goal. That's cool. But then when they said, okay, we'll fight Ward at 164 pounds. Well, why does he need to catch weight, but Froch and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. don't need to catch weight? Well, obviously, y'all are trying to get an advantage over Ward because you know what time it is with that fight. So it wasn't a duck because they're not in the same division, but it was like a sidestep, like, a backtrack. Let's put it like that. It was a backtrack. But I'm not going to hold that against him, because as far as his division goes, he's fought everybody that they put in front of him, and he's beat them, hands down. Now, the Jacobs fight was a little more competitive. It was close, but like I said earlier in the video about the Chocolatito fight, it was not a robbery. It was not a robbery, guys. Now, I had Jacobs winning the 12th round, which was the round that decided the fight. But I could see how someone could say Triple G won that round. I thought Jacobs did a little bit more in the last stanza or exchange of punches. It looked to me like Jacobs slightly wobbled Triple G. It looked like he won that exchange, and that's what gave him the round on my scorecard. But it was still super close. I'm not mad that Jacobs didn't get the decision. He wasn't robbed. I thought he won, but hey, I could see how Triple G won. So it wasn't a robbery. It was just a close, competitive fight. It was a tough fight. Jacobs was a bigger, more athletic man in terms of movement. He's a hard puncher too. And, Triple G still walked through most of his punches. In the rounds that Jacobs won, he won a few rounds decisively. And then a lot of the rounds were swing rounds where they could have went either way, depending on what type of work you like to see, or you score as a winning round for a fighter. So once again, close fight. That's cool. Now, as far as Canelo, he turned pro at the age of 15 in Mexico. By the time he fought Austin Trout to become the man at 154 pounds, he had 40-something career fights, 40 career fights, no losses. I think he maybe had one draw or something like that. So after the Austin Trout fight, he fought Floyd Mayweather, and he virtually lost every second of that fight. I mean, it was a complete whitewashing. CJ Ross, she doesn't think so, but, she scored in a draw, but she hasn't scored a fight since because of that. She resigned. It was just ridiculous scorecard. So he got schooled by the master. This is something I was talking about earlier today. As far as the resumes goes, Canelo has more marquee names on his resume. He fought and beat Old Man Mosley. He beat Cotto. He has Khan on the resume. Even though Khan, we all know the problems, the issues that he has with his chin, he's still a good name. It just in the name. That's it. And he lost to Mayweather. He did not win that fight. We're going to get back to that. And he barely won against Lara. Some people had him losing to Lara. I actually have a scorecard. I can't find it here, but I still have that scorecard. I had Canelo winning, barely, by one round. It was 7-5 for Canelo. It could have went the other way for Lara, but I felt like he gave away rounds by literally running later in the fight once Canelo started tapping him on his body. But back to the whole Mayweather thing. This is something I wanted to touch on. Look, y'all, how much credit are we going to continue to give Canelo for taking an L, losing? In reality, he lost 120 to 108. He lost every single round to a 36-year-old, past his prime, brittle hands Floyd Mayweather, who Canelo outweighed by 15 pounds on fight night. Now, I know what you're saying. Floyd is a master. Yes, he is. Floyd is probably the best defensive boxer of all time. Maybe Pernell Whitaker, or I can't think of the guy's name from the 60s. He was really cold too. Willie Pep, I think, who won a round without throwing a punch. He's right up there. Those are only guys that could touch him defensively. I understand that. He's the master, number one pound for pound fighter. But the facts are facts. He was an old man when he beat Canelo. He was a smaller man, and he was walking Canelo down. He took him to school, to the Mayweather School of Boxing. as an old man with brittle hands that was outweighed by 15 pounds on fight night. Those are the facts. So, yeah, he learned a lot in that fight, but how much did he really learn? I guess the thing is that I feel like some folks are giving him a little too much credit. He did get better. I'm not saying that he didn't. He got a lot better. Some folks say 10 times better. I don't see that much improvement. He didn't improve. Did his footwork improve? No, he's still flat-footed. Did his defense improve? Slightly. He still has the same fast hands. He was evading punches against Trout like he does now. Just slipping and moving the upper body like he does now. And that was before the Mayweather fight. So I'm saying I just feel like that this mass amount of improvement that he's had since Floyd has been a little overstated. Let's look at the opposition. He fought Angulo. He did fight Lara, which he didn't look too good in that fight. He fought Khan. He fought Cotto, Liam Smith. I know I'm missing some people in between there. It's not like he's just fought a murderer's row of good, slick boxers where you could see that, okay, well, he did improve against this style. He hasn't really fought anybody that had the skill set to set up a punch and hurt him. You know, we haven't seen Canelo hurt since he got hurt by Miguel Cotto's brother early on when he was at welterweight. It was on the Mayweather-Mosley undercard. That's the last time we saw Canelo get hurt. So he hasn't really fought anybody like Triple G. Okay, now people will say, well, Triple G's resume doesn't have anybody on it. But think about this. Who on Canelo's resume would you favor to beat Danny Jacobs? I'll wait. Okay, that's what I thought. You can't pick out anybody. Now, we can exclude Floyd Mayweather because he's a welterweight. But the guys that are a little closer in size to Jacobs, would you pick Austin Trout to beat Jacobs? Would you pick Lara? I wouldn't. I think Jacobs would beat Lara. Would you pick Angulo? No. Would you pick Liam Smith? No. Chavez Jr.? Hell no. To beat Jacobs? No. So he didn't beat Mayweather. You know, a lot of people are counting that like he beat him. No, let's chill with the credit on the resume. There's a lot of good names on there, but after he fought Floyd, it got a little soft. With all of that said, who do I think is gonna win the fight? I'm gonna stick to my guns. The more I think about it, the more I want to pull back from my prediction. But I'm going to convict to this prediction. I said it when this fight was announced. I believe Canelo Alvarez is going to win by controversial decision. I think this is going to be a good fight, a close fight. And I think he's going to win. One scorecard may be lopsided and weird because you know how them Canelo scorecards will be. CJ Ross 114. And I think it was maybe against Austin Trout, it was one scorecard that had him winning like 9 or 10 rounds to 2. You know, he gets them weird scorecards. I don't know what Oscar be doing. I'm not saying he's paying anybody off, but hey, it's just strange to me. Move my seat up. I'm gonna delete this part off. Moving my seat up. Look at that swole back. Okay. Excuse me. I had to move my seat up. Yeah, I said that a year ago that Canelo was gonna win by controversial decision, either a split decision or he was gonna win a unanimous decision. Maybe 115, 113. One scorecard is gonna look a little weird. 117, 111, something like that. Now, as far as what he can do to beat Triple G, he cannot lay against the ropes, obviously, which is something that he likes to do when he gets a little tired in the ring. Can't do that against a bigger man like that, especially somebody like Triple G that knows how to punch. And when I say knows how to punch, not just punch with power, he knows how to take steam off of certain punches. His punch selection is superb. Let's put it like that. His punch selection is superb and his accuracy is superb. His punch placement. So Triple G is you can't play with him against the ropes. He gonna find you. No matter how good your defense is, he's gonna find you. He's gonna touch you somewhere. And he's excellent at cutting off the ring. Now we all know Canelo is flat-footed. That's always been the knock on him. Defensively, he is better than Triple G. So I think his best bet is to fight him on the inside. He is the smaller man. He has the shorter reach. Fight him on the inside. I hope they're working on that, and maybe that's why he's bulking up, because he wants to make it a little rough and fight on the inside. Now we know that Triple G's inside game does leave something to be desired. It's not the best in the world. If he can take advantage of that and not, be in that range, that not be on the end of that jab. Because I feel like Triple G is probably going to fight him similar to how he did Lemieux, where he kept him on the jab, on the end of the jab, and he has one of the best jabs in the game right now. He just controlled the fight, controlled the distance like that until it was time to take him out. So it's Canelo's best bet to try to get on the inside, work Triple G's body a little bit, take some steam off of those punches. We don't know how well Triple G takes it to the body yet. We've never seen anybody come with a real dedicated body attack just because they can't take what's being thrown back at them. But we did see Willie Monroe for like a round and a half or 2 rounds actually be very effective against Triple G on the inside. If he wins, that's how he's going to win. And he's a very accurate puncher as well and a good counter puncher. But I've seen Triple G get counter punched, and a lot of guys, when they catch a punch, it takes something off of what they throwing back. With Triple G, it's like his punch is hardly even affected by that, and it still comes and hits the guy and hurts him. So we're gonna see, man, if Canelo's power has carried up. He couldn't knock out Chavez, but we all know Chavez he inherited, the only thing he inherited from his daddy was the chin. So that may be why he stood up. He was able to stand up in that fight. So we're gonna see. Triple G's chin is world class. So Canelo, hopefully he has the power to make Triple G stay honest and respectful. I don't know if he has more power than Danny Jacobs. I will say he's more accurate, so maybe that'll play a part. Now, as far as Triple G, I mean, it's kind of easy for him as far as how he can win. Just beat Triple G for the Lemieux fight. He just kept him on the end of the jab until it was time to go ahead and just start, just break him down and take him out. He should do the same with Canelo. If he dares to go against the ropes, he knows what he needs to do. Canelo has had stamina issues before. Triple G is a good body puncher. Touch him up on the body. He's really good at cutting off the ring. Canelo really doesn't have great foot movement or foot speed. All of his defensive ability comes from him moving his upper body to slick punches. The fight to me is kind of set up to where it's not a styles clash. It is a perfect matchup for both guys. Canelo wants the guy to come to him so he can counterpunch. And we all know Triple G wants to hunt. It's gonna be, it should be very exciting for I'm gonna say as long as it lasts, because I don't know what Canelo's chin is talking about these days, but you can't take too many of those Golovkin shots and just think you're just gonna keep fighting normally. We haven't seen anybody do that. Jacobs was slipping a lot of punches. He did get knocked down, but even that was more of a balanced shot. Jacobs knocked down. He did get it was official. He got touched with a punch, but he was never really hurt in that fight. He was a big man too. I mean, he was at least 175 when he came into the ring, right? Taller, longer. What advantages does Canelo really have? He has the hand speed advantage. He's better defensively. He may be a better combination puncher. It's really just an interesting mashup of styles, because both of their styles play into the other guy's favor. So it's like, who can capitalize more or first, in Triple G's case, to win the fight? It's really 50-50. It may be 60-40 Canelo, because I think if Canelo does beat Triple G, it'll be a slight upset. I don't think it will be an upset if Triple G wins. And it kind of sounds like I'm rolling with Triple G, but I'm staying with my Canelo pick, staying with that pick. But I'm just very excited to see this fight. But yeah, it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. It ain't gonna be any running. It ain't gonna be a whole bunch of lateral movement unless Canelo has changed up his fighting style. We know Triple G wants to come forward. We know Canelo likes the guys to come to him. Like Oscar said one time, let him come to me. That's what Canelo likes. Let him come to me. Let Triple G come to him. You may not like what he's bringing. Most people don't. So if you don't get inside and do most of your work there, ooh, buddy, we're gonna see just how much Canelo has improved, because Gennady Golovkin, as far as offensively, he's probably the best offensive fighter in the game right now. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have for that fight. Still rolling with Canelo by controversial decision. Let me know what you think. Who you got? You got Saul Canelo Alvarez, or do you have Gennady Triple G Golovkin? Drop a comment in the comment section. As always, everybody, share, like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And share. Share is important too. But do all of those things. It's Brohammer TV signing out. Let him come to me.